Hey guys, what is up? Plastic Guy here, coming back with another figure review where today we're taking a look at this upgraded suit Spider-Man from No Way Home. Normally in these videos I'll introduce the figure, I'll talk about it a wee bit and then we'll jump into the unboxing and the review. However, I've got a lot to say about this figure, so feel free to jump ahead if you're wanting to take a closer look at the figure. As I said, there's a lot to say. This figure was a Walmart exclusive over in the US, so I live in Scotland. Over here in the UK, we don't have any Walmarts, unfortunately, so yeah, this figure was hard to get a hold of. I was keeping my eye out because I really did like the look of him. He is technically part of the No Way Home wave. We've got the integrated suit Spidey, which I'm going to talk about in a separate video. I do have this integrated suit Spidey, so there will be a video going up on that guy very soon, so keep your eye out for it. We've got a new J. Jonah Jameson as part of the wave, a fantastic Miles Morales figure, Doctor Strange, and a few more. I do have Miles Morales and Doctor Strange pre-ordered, so as soon as they arrive, I'm getting them out and I'm making a video on them. They look fantastic. But the only other figure I was really interested in was this guy. As I said, he was not easy to get a hold of here in the UK, being a Walmart exclusive. I was keeping my eye out, he was not popping up in any of the usual retailers, and I kind of just thought I wasn't going to be able to get him. All of a sudden, he starts popping up on eBay for crazy prices, if I'm being honest, way more than I wanted to spend. However, a couple sellers had him up for a decent price, still a wee bit more than I wanted to spend, but it was alright, so I ended up grabbing one. And then all of a sudden he started popping up on Smith's. So yeah, if you're in the UK guys, keep your eyes open on the Smith's website. He has sold out already. I think he sold out pretty fast. So I'm not totally bummed out that I managed to grab this on eBay for, it was more than retail. Smith's are selling it for about £22. As I said, they're sold out at the moment. Who knows when they'll come back into stock. So yeah, the thing about this figure is it's not exactly brand new. It is pretty much the exact same as this guy right here. This is the upgraded suit from Far From Home, which a lot of folk had a lot to say about it when it came out, and now this one's out and it's like, Basically, I managed to get this figure new in box when Far From Home came out, and I had it for a while. Those figures didn't really sell out as fast as I thought they would because the Homecoming Spidey was really hard to get a hold of. This Far From Home one just sort of lingered about because, as I said, a lot of people had a lot of kind of not... A lot of folk liked it, but it definitely falls short in a lot of areas. For example, there was no painted webbing, we didn't get any wall crawly grabbing hands, it was just one pair of interchangeable hands, and that was it. There was no accessories, there was no interchangeable head. So it was a very average movie Spider-Man figure, and for a movie Spider-Man, I think a lot of folk were expecting a lot more, including me. So as I said, the figures sort of lingered about, they eventually sold out, but then you could pick them up second hand for around retail. I've seen them sell for a lot less, seen them sell for a wee bit more, and then the weirdest thing happened over here in the UK with those figures. So I can't really remember all the figures included. It was mostly Endgame figures, Endgame Marvel Legends, the Captain America, the Iron Man. There was a Captain Marvel figure and the Far From Home Spider-Man. All came out on a card back release. Yeah, it kind of came out of nowhere. I've never really seen that happen with Marvel Legends before, and especially with just a select few of figures. So basically, instead of a Marvel Legends box exactly like this, these figures came out on a more retro carded style. It was just a plain card back. It wasn't even like fancy art or anything. Just plain art on a card back. And they sold them for a really reduced price. Instead of your retail £22 to £24 Marvel Legends, you'd pick up the card backed figure for around £15–16. So I mean, that's great, especially if you wanted that Spider-Man figure, and as I said, it didn't have any accessories or interchangeable parts. Just pick up the cheap option. One day I ended up going into my local supermarket and they actually had those card-backed Marvel Legends figures on sale. So they were even further reduced in price, and basically I ended up picking this guy up for £10 and kept the original new in box. So I took the card back out and I customised them. I say customised them, I just added Sharpie in on those sculpted lines, made him have the black webbing that he should have came with already. I do think he looks way better like that, and that's something we'll discuss with this figure. But it just means as well, because I kept that Far From Home figure new in box, I've actually got that up on eBay right now. I've made my money back, and it means I don't feel as bad for spending a wee bit over retail for this guy right here. So yeah, the original Far From Home advanced suits are now selling for more than retail after that whole story I've just explained. I know I've been rambling. I'm going to stop. We're going to get into this figure. But before we do, guys, with No Way Home fastly approaching, I really want to know what your guys' thoughts are. Are we going to see Tobey and Andrew? Because the second trailer's not out yet. Well, it might be by the time I upload this video. I'm not too sure. But man, every single day we're getting closer to that second trailer and there's no more leaks of Tobey and Andrew. I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't, and I want to know what you guys think. So let me know down in the comment section below what your thoughts on No Way Home are. Any theories, fire them into those comments. And also, while you're down there, guys, if you do me a massive favour, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button as well if you're new to the channel. With all that being said, guys, let's finally get into this advanced suit Spider-Man figure from the No Way Home film. Let's compare him to the old advanced suit, some other Marvel legends, and let's just see what we think of this guy. And here is our upgraded suit Spider-Man in box, and I'm really liking the look of that Tom Holland head sculpt. I can't wait to compare him to this Tom Holland head sculpt, but before we get into that, guys, let's check out the box. We've got the MCU Spider-Man logo up the top, a wee warning, Legends series display here, and you know, decent display. Spider-Man, I really like that font actually, and then we get the upgraded suit here. Image at the side, really like that. The kind of No Way Home pattern here that I think we'll get on a lot of these Spider-Man figures. Another image, same image here. Marvel Legends series Spider-Man. Spider-Man gears up in his upgraded suit to fight evil and protect his neighbourhood. Yeah, I hope we see a lot of this suit in No Way Home. However, I'm getting the impression that No Way Home is going to be rammed full of different Spider-Man suits, perhaps different Spider-Mans, and a lot of different Spider-Man villains. So who knows what the screen time for any of these aspects is going to be. But let's not think about that right now. Let's take a closer look at Spider-Man and get him out of the packaging. And here is our upgraded suit Spidey out of the packaging. And first of all, I just want to take a look at the accessories. So it does come with this web. And I'm not sure all the different Spider-Man figures that this web came with. I know it did come with the PS4 Marvel Legends Spider-Man, and I do have a couple, maybe only one, I'm not too sure, but I'm glad we get another one. This one looks pretty good. It's translucent, which looks a lot better than the kind of opaque white they've used before. So this does look great. I like all the wee knots in it, and it's pretty long as well. So yeah, I do like this web that we get with Spider-Man. And then he comes with one pair of interchangeable hands. We've got kind of fisted, grabby hands here. And then we get these web flipping hands as expected. Now, when the advanced suit Spider-Man figure came out last time for Far From Home, a lot of folks said, why do we not get wall crawling hands? And Hasbro have not really cared. They've not answered that question, and they've not gave us wall crawling hands with this one, which is just weird. Like, it's Spider-Man, he climbs up walls, that is a massive part of who he is. Why do we not get them, especially in a movie release? And this is the second time round, so it's a wee bit disappointing, but at least we get an alternative head. I love getting Peter Parker head sculpts. I love a figure where it comes with the alter ego, like Black Panther coming with his T'Challa head sculpt, Spider-Man with the Peter Parkers, if we have a Wolverine, get like a Logan. Just that whole idea, I love it. I love alternative head sculpts, especially when it's the alter egos. And this Peter Parker looks pretty great. Once again, this head sculpt isn't new. This isn't a new Peter Parker head sculpt. This head sculpt came in the Iron Spider 2-pack with Iron Spider and Iron Man. I don't have that, but as far as I know, that's where this head sculpt comes from, and it is painted different, and in my opinion, this one looks way better than that Iron Spider 2-pack. I think the paint just makes it look way more like Tom Holland than the other head sculpt does. Mine seems to have a wee paint issue, and unless in No Way Home Peter Parker's rocking a slit eyebrow, yeah, I've got a paint issue, but it's not too bad. I actually think it does kind of make him look cooler, if I'm being honest, but yeah, that's just something on my figure that's went like that. The hair looks great. And yeah, overall, it's a good likeness to Tom Holland. I don't think it screams Tom Holland, but it's definitely a great likeness to him. And then we have the suit. So we've seen a lot of this before, and yeah, it doesn't look too bad at all. I'm trying to figure out if that's a butterfly joint there. It looks like it, but it doesn't look like it's moving. It might just need a hairdryer or whatever. Does the other one have a butterfly joint? Yeah, it does. So maybe it just needs loosened up on this one. As I said earlier, we'll compare it later on to the original release. But yeah, very similar. The things that are different about it, you know, there's some downfalls and there's some advantages. If we just bring them in right now, we can see that they both came with the sculpted weapons, no painted, but I've added the painted lines with a Sharpie on this one. I think the chest logo looks a bit better on this guy. He's definitely more defined. But the one thing I wanted to point out right now is the texturing in the black is missing on this figure. So we got texturing in this figure, and then they took it away for the re-release. Why? Why do that? I don't understand. Maybe in No Way Home there is no texturing, but I highly doubt that. We'll have to wait and see. Another wee difference is we can see the red in the shoulder area here. I mean elbow. Yeah, elbow, not the shoulder. Yeah, extra red and where it's not. Yeah, it's weird that they've got rid of the texturing. Also a suit design, they've got rid of the black kind of utility belt sort of look that was on this figure. It's gone in this one. And then what I do really like is they've added the black in at the feet, which I was going to do with Sharpie on this one. I don't think I'll bother anymore now that I've got this figure here, but that's another wee difference. So yeah, very weird that they've re-released this figure. They've not gave us any wall crawling hands, and they've took the texture away on the black parts of the suit. It does look better on the back here in that red bit going around the waist. The back logo does look a lot better as well, a bit bigger, a lot more defined. So yeah, there's some pros and cons. So I showed off in my Spider-Man Homecoming Marvel Legends figure review this Tom Holland head sculpt that I picked up for around £7 on eBay. It came from, I think it was China, just loose like this for £7, and I bought it because I didn't have a Tom Holland head sculpt. As I've mentioned earlier in the film, in the video, I do like getting head sculpts of the alter egos to swap over and everything, so I thought this was a great deal. It does have a good likeness to Tom Holland, as we can see here. And I tried to put it on this figure, but it just wasn't really fitting. I did have to file the inside to get it to fit some figures. I think it was the Homecoming figure. I don't know, I can't remember. But he fits on some MCU Spider-Mans. He's not fitting on this one. I don't want to force it on. But just to compare, yeah, I think this one's better, and I wasn't too sure at first. I thought this one did have the better likeness. But no, I'm preferring this one. The hair does look a lot better as well. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. Still glad I have this one, especially for a spare. Have no clue what it's based on. I've never seen a legit version of this head sculpt. But yeah, it looks fairly decent, but I'm preferring this one. Holy smokes, that was really hard to get the Spider-Man head sculpt on. I was actually about to give up, but I finally managed to get him on there with a bit of a struggle. And just to compare him once again to the original upgraded suit, yeah, it looks pretty much identical. There is a very slight issue I have. In fact, you know what? I'm not even going to mention it. It's not that bad. Yeah, pretty much the same head sculpt as before. I think looking at both of these, the red's a bit different. This is a more matte red compared to this shiny one, and I do prefer that as well. Overall, nothing much different. Yeah, good Spider-Man head sculpt. It just suffers from the lack of painted webbing on it. To be honest, I don't know once again why they've not done that a second time round. Just to compare this figure against some other figures, here we have the MCU Spider-Man next to our retro carded Spider-Man, and this guy standing a lot taller than this one, which is to be expected. Tom Holland's a lot younger, and yeah, that's a bit of a smaller Spidey figure. And here we have our Tom Holland Spider-Man next to our Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. And yeah, this guy just still holds up for me. I mean, the level of detail on this Toy Biz figure is amazing. We've got the sculpted webbing with the paint on top, and then the texturing in the other areas of the costume. I mean, look at the legs. The texturing on that is absolutely fantastic. And I really, really hope Hasbro stick up with the quality of this guy if they do happen to release a Tobey Maguire figure in the future, because it is epic, it's awesome. Standing next to each other, I don't know, they just look a bit too different. This one is definitely aged, and yeah, Hasbro need to make an updated version, but they cannot drop the ball on the level of detail, or there's going to be a lot of angry fans out there. And then we saw in the first Spider-Man teaser that pumpkin bomb, and I think we all know what that means. We're all fully expecting a return of this guy in the film, so we had to shove the figures next to one another. And yeah, I thought maybe Tom Holland's Spider-Man would be standing a wee bit smaller. This is a Toy Biz figure, it's pretty old. But yeah, maybe like him to be, I don't know how much smaller he would be, but they look alright next to one another. Once again, we're going to definitely need an updated Green Goblin figure from Hasbro. And then we get MJ, and these guys, yeah, they look great next to one another. I can't wait to see them next to one another in the film. Yeah, I cannot wait for No Way Home. To run over the articulation on the Spider-Man, we can get his head looking really far up, really far down, left and right, to return that all the way around. It pivots a wee bit as well. I don't know if that's just a ball joint. It might not even be on properly because, as I said, it was such a struggle to get him on in the first place. Yeah, his arm's going to move about that far up, that far down, all around. He's got an upper bicep swivel, double jointed elbow there. You can move the wrist backwards and forwards and rotate that all the way around. His hands look a wee bit small. I mean, look at that angle. Very small hands. You can move this arm all the way up. Just same articulation. Once again, oh, we've got the butterfly joint to move. Fantastic. So he does have a butterfly joint as well. This torso articulation, so good range of movement there. Rotate the wrist. He's going to move his leg that far forward, that far backwards, upper thigh swivel, get about that far out the way, double jointed knees, get the foot backwards and forwards, and pivot as well. Nothing in the calf area there. And there we have it for this upgraded suit No Way Home figure, and I've really got mixed feelings on this guy because even though it is a good figure, we've got to remember that this is Hasbro's second go at this type of Spider-Man, and they've just not really delivered. They've not listened to anything the fans said on the initial release. When that Far From Home Spider-Man was released, a lot of folk were disappointed straight away in the fact that it didn't have painted webbings. The webbing is sculpted on there. I don't know why they've not just added that wee bit of black paint. It would really change this figure, and for the second time, they've not done that. They've also, for the second time, not included wall crawling hands, and once again, like, that is a staple of Spider-Man. Why would it be so hard to just give us that extra pair of hands, especially for such a big movie release? Yeah, I don't get it. But then they have delivered because they've gave us a pretty cool web accessory. I know it's a web accessory that we've seen before, but they give us it in this translucent look, and it is a good accessory. But my favourite thing about this figure is the head sculpt. The Tom Holland head sculpt is great. I'm so happy we get that. It really does add to this figure, as well as just those wee different details such as the feet. They've added the black in. The front and back logo look a lot better than before, and they've also got that extra red on the elbows there. So yeah, they've made up in some places and they've fallen short again in the same places. And once again, the fact that this is such an exclusive figure and it's hard to get your hands on, I don't know. I really don't know. If you can get this guy for maybe, I honestly don't know, guys. It's up to you. You've seen the video. You can make your own choice. I'm just a bit conflicted on this figure and really what Hasbro's motivations behind it are. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below, and while you're down there guys, if you could do me a massive favour, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well for future videos on plenty of Marvel Legends figures and more. I'll leave the link to my Instagram down in the description below, so feel free to go and check that out. Feel free to hop on over to the channel page and check any other video out. I've got lots of Spider-Man videos out there. It would really mean a lot to me, so feel free. And with all that being said guys, thank you so much for watching this video right here. As always, I'll catch yous on the flip-flop later. Cheers.